Greetings, and today I will be showing you how to use our tool called Filter and Search. You will find it either here, or if you watched the first video, we added it to the right-click menu. So, the first time you start up Filter and Search, it takes a few seconds, and it scans through the entire model, looking for elements or families. It has now listed up that there are 11,035 families. These are view-independent elements only, meaning it has not listed any of the 2D annotation/detail families, right? So let's start by seeing what this model contains. We start up here, we name this 1 and this 2 to indicate an order of how you will use it. When you click on this list, you will see all the properties of all the elements in this model. And as you can see, that creates a long list. So to make it easier to navigate, we have one category of parameters that we've colored green. The blue parameters are instance parameters, the red ones are type, and the orange ones are parameters that we have added. We haven't written them to the families, we have just added them here in this list. So, for example, the maximum and minimum elevation of an object, right? So what you'll find is that you will often start by selecting category. So this lists up the different categories that all the families can be divided into. And now you see that we have an area that we call the tree view, and this is a grid view. And for now, they're almost identical, except that in the tree view, we can now see that we have 368 doors, all right, 15 landings, we have actually 74 lines, and because this is checked, it means that these are model lines, all right. Let's add another parameter. Let's add the type parameter. Alright, so now you start to see a difference. Here we see all the 11,035 elements listed one by one. While here they're grouped, so that if I go to the door category, the grid view will update showing only these 368 doors. And for every time you add a parameter, the tree and the grid view will update, showing the elements that contain, and only those elements that contain all the parameters that you choose. Let's choose level, right? So now this view, both the tree and the grid view, shows only the elements or families that have these 3 parameters. All right. So we have still got doors, but we only have 11 walls. All right. So there's something strange about these walls, because walls, they don't have a level parameter. For a wall, that parameter is called base constraint. All right. So if I let's see how that works out. If I now right-click on this, I can delete the column. Then we get back all our walls. If I then go down here and find the base constraint, we should no longer find anything except walls. All right. So let's continue with the walls. Let's have a look in this list again. Say now we no longer have the parameter called level. So this list will also get smaller and smaller as you choose, as you make your choices for what to show, so that it will be easier and easier to navigate. Okay, let's see how we can use this to some real effect. Let's say I want to check all my walls if the model has been modeled correctly with walls going from level to level, and let's start with that. So we have base constraint. Let's add top constraint. So then we see that there is at least one wall which doesn't have any top constraint. It could be more than one, so if I click on this, it's like Excel, for example, it sorts them and then it flips the list the other way around. So this shows that there are quite a lot of walls which don't have any level, any top level constraint. Alright, let's find out which one that is. So this number 2, as it says here, this is how you can place a filter when they work, because we still have 1222 walls. Let's now just sort them. Let's also scroll our way down. Quite a long list. Hold down the Shift key. If I now click on the dynamic, here so we see that the walls, they are spread out over basically all the floors. If they don't have a top constraint, they must have something else. Let's go here and say maybe they have an, well, let's check first. If we click on this wall, we see that the parameter called unconstrained height will tell us how high they are. So if we go down here and we find the unconnected height, right, so all of them have an unconnected height. Alright, that's something. Let's say that since we still have 1222 elements, let's say that let's start at the lowest level. So I click on the base constraint to make it sort by that column. I right click, I select apply filter, then I say show me only these walls. This one is case sensitive, so remember to spell it correctly. Right. So now we're down to 307. Okay, that's a number that's easier to handle. Okay, let's sort them again. So if I now select with the Shift key, So here we see that they all start on the first level, and then there are some curtain walls that go quite high. All right. Let's then have a look at the other ones, which does have a top constraint. All right. So if we remove this column, uh, 307 walls. All right. Let's start then. If they have a top constraint, they still might have an offset. Let's start by adding this. See? Let's then add the top offset. Alright. So, and if we sort by second story, we can... look here. Here we have a wall starting and ending on the first level. Alright. With 0 offset. Does it have a base offset then, maybe? Let's drag this one here. Right. So you see how you can do a drag and drop to rearrange this order anytime. We were looking for the wall that goes only up. Alright, so we would think that this wall is actually only 300 millimeter high. Right, so let's check that then. If you right click, you'll see you have a whole menu. And if we then choose section by element in 3D view, we will set the section box to this one element. And there it is. So if you now hold down the shift key and you scroll, you will increase the top of the section box by a certain amount for every turn of the wheel. If you hold down the control, the bottom of the section box moves in the same way. If you hold down the shift and you see arrow keys, the box increases. Similarly, if you hold down the control, it decreases. So then you have a very quick way of changing this without having to select this, having to manually find this one. Right. So the amount that the section box increases for every scroll can be adjusted if you hold down the control, shift, and the bigger and smaller than sign, right? And you scroll. Then you see that this means that the section box increases by 200 millimeter each time. Let's put it down to 50. Do another scroll, shift, see. So this here, let's put it back to 200. Right, so this wall then, base and top, set to the first floor, which is a bit unnecessary. Why not just say that it should be unconnected? Right. And as you can see here, this information has not updated yet. we try to speed up the application as much as possible, and so some of the changes we don't do until you specify it, and now we only made changes to a parameter of the object, meaning that if we go here on the refresh button, choose the arrow and select parameters, the parameters will be read once more, not the element, and that will be faster. See, now there are no walls that have top and base and top set to first row. Right, so we quickly found that, fixed the problem, and we can move on. So you will see that this, when you're working with walls, this is often the kind of parameters you want to check. And instead of you having to select all these 2, 4, 6, 7 columns, you can save this. But remember, we added a filter. So let's remove this filter first by right-clicking, removing this, and we get back all the 1222 walls in this model. You go to the search sets, and you'll see here all the columns that we have chosen. We give it a name, and we press save. So that next time when we start filter and search, all we have to do is go here, double click, and we have the same parameters much quicker.